Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of the Joy-Filled Universe podcast. I am your host, Lisa Ryan. I am a certified life and transitions coach, professional coach, and energy master practitioner, and I have an insatiable desire to work with like-minded humans who are on a self-development journey of life with the quest of forever becoming the very best humans that they can be each and every single day. So let's start this episode off with a question. What if the only thing that's standing between you and your wildest dreams isn't a lack of talent or time or luck, but simply the way you see your life as it is today? And also how you see your life unfolding in your future. Well, today we are diving into a technique called visioning, which is a creative process that can be applied towards attracting your dreams and desires into your reality. And there is no dream too big, and it is truly one of my very favorite techniques. So let's dive in. I am fairly certain that if you have dialed into this podcast or dialed in, tuned in, however you got here, I'm pretty certain that visioning is not something new to you. And even if it is, you might be surprised how often you actually include visioning into your everyday life. This practice has been around for centuries, and I have heard that for every 1 hour of visualization equates to 7 hours of effort. Okay, 1 hour of visualization equates to 7 hours of effort. I don't know about you, but I am all about efficiency. So yes, please, I will take that any day of the week. So if you think that you are too busy to do this kind of visioning technique, well, please think again. Whether you're sitting in traffic at a stoplight, of course, on public transportation, say, or out getting some exercise, or I don't know, closing your eyes for a quick break in your day, wherever and whatever you're doing, if you have just a few minutes, you can practice visioning. Now, Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor who lived back in the 2nd century, and he was a very wise man. As a matter of fact, I read his quotes all the time. And so one of my favorite quotes is, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts," which largely translates into what we consciously and consistently think about, our vision, our beliefs, our dreams. It's really who we become and what we manifest into our lives. Now, if you want to move into a more modern perspective, Jack Canfield, who is best known for his chicken soup for the soul, well, he said that you only have control over 3 things. And it's thoughts that you think, the images that you visualize, and the actions that you take. And with all due respect, Jack Canfield, I love you dearly. However, I personally would add one more ingredient to that recipe, and I would include the emotions that you feel. So there are lots of artists and athletes who use visioning. And clearly, if it's been around for as long as it has, as a proper technique of bringing your reality to you, well, why wouldn't artists and athletes use it? For sure. And so here's a really popular example, just to kind of bring it home for you. And it's actually an example that's pretty impressive even today. So there was a gentleman by the name of Roger Bannister, and back in 1954, he became the very first person to break the 4-minute mile. Never before had anyone run a mile in less than 4 minutes, at least as far as we know on the record, up until Mr. Bannister came along. And then surprisingly, within like the next 2 years, there was like a reported 37 people that also ran a mile in under 4 minutes. Now, is that a coincidence? I don't think so. I think that what really happened is people saw that it was possible. And then in their minds, they believed that they too could run that mile in less than 4 minutes. It was like a mental barrier being broken. And then all of a sudden, what was once impossible became possible. And that's really the magic of visioning. Now, another really, really popular example, which I'm pretty sure many of you probably have heard, but it never ceases to amaze me. Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey is a very famous actor. He's a very funny actor, but he's also pulled off some pretty serious roles as well. Well, when Jim Carrey was a young man, I think he was around the age of 23-ish. He was an up and coming actor. He maybe had done a couple of, low grade films, certainly not making a lot of money, right? So like out in Hollywood, getting ready to live the Hollywood dream. And what he did is he wrote himself a check for $10 million, and he wrote on the check $10 million for acting services rendered. And then he dated it somewhere like 3 to 5 years out in the future. And then he folded it up and put it in his wallet, and he kept it with him everywhere he went. And he was also someone who spent a lot of time imagining what it would be like to be sought after by various directors, what it felt like to have a hit movie and have all the reporters and everyone wanting to get your attention. And so he visualized what that would feel like, and he did it deliberately, and he did it consistently. Well, flash forward right before his check date was about to expire, sure enough, he either landed or he was being paid out for one of his very popular movies. I think it was Dumb and Dumber, and his paycheck was right there around $10 million. Now that's incredible. And I don't believe it's a coincidence. And I genuinely have experienced visioning miracles, visioning outcomes for myself, which when it happens, sometimes you just can't explain it. And those are the things that I love the most, when you're just like, my God, this is incredible. Look at this. And I made this happen. I brought this into my reality by having solid energy and visualizing consistently and bringing this amazingness into my life. Anyway, all that to say, how do we apply visioning into our everyday life? How can we do it? Well, first of all, I love visioning because you have to get clear on what it is that you want. What are you looking to bring into your reality? Is it something related to family or friendships or relationships in general, financial wealth, a perfect partner, your ideal career, a perfect home? Maybe you want to lose some weight, I don't know, or just better wellness overall. You could be looking to create a new hobby. Maybe you want that dream car. Whatever it is, get clear and don't limit yourself. You can apply visioning to so many things. You don't have to just pick one. But it is probably good not to go crazy, but don't limit yourself to just one or two things. Like, go ahead and fill out your picture. What do you want to bring into your life? And once you have that clarity, then you can start focusing on the visioning process. And I'm just going to say that you want to make sure you're in a good place, right? You want to make sure you're in a good high vibe feeling state, because you don't necessarily want to be visioning when you have low vibes. Low vibes are always driven from some kind of negativity and fear-based thoughts, where your high vibes are definitely coming from a very joyful, love-filled, energetic place. So make sure you're in a good headspace. Some people like to light candles. Some people like to put on some fun music. Some people just like to do some visioning outside when they're in a comfortable place, or even on yourself, wherever and whatever you need to do, whether it's just you or posturing your environment, do it. Find yourself in a great place, because mood matters. It definitely matters. Now, there are a couple different ways of visioning, right? So you could do old school vision boards. I personally love an old school vision board. I do. I love the process of cutting out pictures or from magazines or what have you, or finding fun things on Pinterest and printing them out, or I even take photographs and I'll use photos, and I put those on my vision board, stickers, whatever it is. Vision boards are really fun for me if you like crafting and doing that kind of stuff. And I'm not really crafty, but I will say I do enjoy a good vision board, the old school style. I also have created vision boards on my phone. Now, there's lots of apps for creating vision boards on your phone, and they're really super handy. And so I do like to put pictures on my phone because that's genuinely the one device that's with me everywhere I go. And so picking up my phone, and every time you pick it up, you see these pictures that resonate for you. And it's just like, oh, yes, it's coming into my reality. And that is a form of visioning. Regardless if it's short, you're still doing it, and there's consistency there, and it's awesome. Now, journaling is another way of visioning, and I do love journaling too. I have lots of journals, but journaling is really fun. And again, finding yourself in a good feeling state, and just writing about maybe your perfect day. Today, this was perfect. I came home to my beautiful home with my adorable little dog, and my perfect partner. He was waiting for me, and he had made dinner and surprised me, whatever it is, right? I mean, like, you can write about your most perfect day in journaling, and basically you're writing your diary by your future self. So your future self was writing your diary. That's pretty great. And by doing it, you're in, again, that feeling state of creating your reality. And it is 110% high vibes, puts you in the best mood ever because you're like, this is real. Because here's the thing too, thoughts that you think of over and over and over again, well, guess what? Those become what's called a belief. And once you start believing, you start knowing that your world, that as you want it to be, is your reality. And that is a great place to come from. I personally love being in that feeling state. So journaling, your vision boards, whether you're doing old school or on your phone, those are all good techniques. Another good one is meditating. Meditating is something that so many people swear by. I read a lot of Dr. Joe Dispenza books, and he is always about meditating. And so meditating is awesome. And again, putting on some great music. There's even some subliminals that you can put on that are kind of reinforcing whatever that subliminal is. If it's subliminals about self-confidence and worthiness, like, that's a great way to also have these incredible thoughts coming into your subconscious mind as you are sitting and visualizing all of the great activities and life directions that you want to bring to yourself. So meditating is also very fun. And although I don't do a whole lot of it, I know a lot of people who swear by it and say it is absolutely incredible. So whether you are vision boarding or journaling or meditating, whatever the activity is, just make sure it involves holding an image in your mind and allowing yourself to feel the image as if it already is a part of your reality. That's the key. Now, I just want to say one thing. There are people out there that will say, don't put a timeline on your visioning. Don't do that. And I am going to say that I do. I do appreciate putting a timeline on my visioning, and I'm not against it, right? Because sometimes what that does for you is you're looking at that and you're saying, my God, the day is almost here. It's coming. And so you know that it's coming to you. Now, some people say don't put a timeline on there, because if you do, and that is your mental mindset of, it's coming, then you're kind of telling the universe, like, don't bring it to me any quicker. And sometimes the universe will. So it's up to you. It's up to you. I like putting a timeline on mine just because I just think it's fun. And again, some people will set up a vision board for a year. Some people will do it for 6 months. Some people will do it for 5 years. It, again, the time frame of how you want to set it up and what you want it to be is all up to you. I actually have set vision boards up and I leave them up, and it's almost like heart-wrenching when I take them down after I've manifested everything on my vision board, because it's almost like saying goodbye to an old friend. You're like, my God, we spent so much time together. Thank you for being amazing. So I never really put any of my stuff away. Actually, I do, but I kind of put it in little envelopes, and I thank it for being so amazing, because I do like looking back to where I was as a little bit of a reminder, because it helps me feel really great about like, wow, these were things that I wanted, and now these are things that I have. So you feel really accomplished, and it just encourages you to just keep going and keep growing. So anyway, there's that. So timelines, up to you. Also, I want you to be cautious around who you share your vision boards with. People can sometimes say some unkind things, or they can be a little bit judgy, and that can cause you to see your desires differently. So keep your desires kind of to yourself, or only share with people you know will match your vibe and encourage you in your manifesting journey, who'll be excited for you. And will sometimes, like, I have a really good friend where she will sometimes play with me like, okay, let's talk about when your podcast is really rocking it and you have a lot of followers and you're just living your best life and growing with this incredible tribe of humans. Let's talk about that. So then she'll have me riff on what that feeling state is, and as if I'm in that state already. And that is just incredible. So if you have a fan club that's there to cheer for you, then absolutely share away. But just be cautious of those that might put some judgment on your desires or make you second guess them, because guess what? It's not their journey, it's yours. So protect your energy. And on that vein, right, it is about you. This is about you. And I cannot stress enough that you are not being selfish to focus on yourself. You're not. The universe is abundant, and there is plenty for everyone. There's plenty for everyone, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast, because I just love when you know that your reality belongs to you, and there is nothing in this whole wide world that you can't have. Nothing. You just have to believe in yourself, and you have to allow yourself to know that you are worthy and you deserve it. And that is okay. You're not being selfish. You're not taking something from someone else. If you're looking to manifest money, guess what? If you hit the lottery tomorrow, there's still enough money to go around. It is okay. This dream, these desires, they're yours, and you have every right to dream big, and only you control your reality, right? So it's okay to focus on you. You are worthy. You are worth it. And I want you to know that. Okay. Now, I'm going to go back. Our friend Marcus Aurelius, he had said that the conscious and consistent thinking about your desires is really important, right? Feel into your desires. For example, if you desire a new home and you have an image of a beautiful exterior of the home on your vision board, awesome. Well, while you're looking at that picture, you can start to think through, what is it like to drive up to that home? Do you drive through a gate? Do you have a long driveway? Do you have a short driveway? What is it like? What is your lawn like? Do you have a lawn? Do you live in a condo? I don't know. But what is that feeling state? So if you're driving up to your home, say, and you have a beautiful yard, then you get out of your car. What does it sound like when you get out? Do you hear children laughing? Do you hear dogs barking? Do you hear cars moving? Do you hear them honking? What is it like? Are you hustling and grabbing all your things and running into the house because you want to avoid that neighbor that's about to come over and talk to you about, I don't know, what's going on this weekend in the cul-de-sac? And you're trying to hurry up and dial in your keypad and open your door. So then you get in your house. What's it like? Is it big? Do you have a ginormous foyer? Do you have a really pretty, quaint foyer? How many rooms are in the home? What is the downstairs like? What's your kitchen like? What does it smell like inside? Is there someone home waiting for you? Is there a dog or a cat greeting you at the door? Channel and use your senses to dial in to your visioning, because it can really just put that extra spin and raise your vibe just a bit more and send out even more incredible signals to the universe of all of the wonderful things that you're desiring when it comes to your new home or whatever it is that you're dreaming about. So the reason the consistency is so important is because you are literally making your desires feel familiar to you. And it has been said that visioning actually primes you to spot opportunities. Thoughts create emotions, and emotions are energy in motion. And energy attracts like energy. So in essence, your consistent visioning on your desires create emotions, which are energy vibes that you are putting out into the universe. And while you are living in this heightened level of awareness, you will become open to receiving opportunities that are absolutely showing up for your highest good. And if you really want to take it up a notch, after all of your visioning and all of the wonderful thoughts that you are thinking, give the universe the creative license to bring you something even better than you could possibly imagine. And you do this by simply saying at the end of your visioning, thank you, universe. Thank you for this or something better. And let it ride, because the universe is going to say, I got you. And I am always looking out for your highest good. And if you're giving me the opportunity to bring you what you're thinking of and even something better, then I will deliver. And rest assured, there are going to be times where you are absolutely going to have your mind blown, because you're going to be like, oh my God, I could have never imagined this. And this is incredible. And that's what I'm here for. I love moments like that. And I'm wishing that for you. So I would be remiss if I didn't share an example with everyone. So here's an example that I used a vision board for. And it was there were one of many things on my vision board. And trust and believe, I will be sharing lots of my manifesting experiences due to just having good energy and high vibes with you throughout these podcasts as they evolve. But here's a good one that just kind of drives it home. So during the pandemic, I got the bright idea that I was going to move to Texas. And my family was kind of like, why are you moving to Texas? You don't know anybody in Texas. But I was like, right. But that's where I'm going to go, because what else are you going to do other than getting sequestered at home and stuck inside? But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to move to a totally different state and set up a new life there. So I did. And I guess that was a little bit of a manifestation in and of itself. However, off I went to Texas, and it didn't take me too long to be there before I realized I didn't really love it. And it was, with all due respect to Texas, I actually didn't even have an opportunity to give it much of a chance, because I moved down there during COVID, and spoiler alert, moved back during COVID. So I didn't really give Texas a whole big chance. And I will say I did make some good friends down in Texas, and I still talk to them today. And one of my really dear friends lives in Texas. And so yeah, there's a lot of good that comes out of Texas. Anyway, the point was that I wanted to move back to Virginia. And so I created this vision board. And I also had someone that I had to deal with every day. And they just always kind of they didn't do it intentionally, I don't think. We just didn't vibe the same. And so they always kind of were a little bit of a downer. They always had some kind of negative spin to the things that I would say. And it always just made me feel kind of blue. And so I thought, so to keep my vibe high, because I was starting to feel the stress of being like, oh my God, what if I'm stuck here forever? And so you got to keep those fear-based thoughts away, right? So your energy stays high, your vibe stays high. So thoughts and feelings of joy was where I wanted to be. So what I did was I created my vision board, and on the vision board, I put naturally a state of Virginia, and I put a mantra on there. So whenever I would be crossing paths with this person, I would say to myself, okay, you do you. I'm going to be living my best life in Washington, D.C. So I put that on there. And then I also took a picture of my license plate, and I put that on there because my license plate was still Virginia. But the kicker was that on my license plate was also the registration information. And so it said 6/22 for June 2022. And I also put a little sign up there that said, you've got this. And so I started taking some inspired action. I was filling out applications and getting some interviews, etc. Well, in June, I had an interview for a really great opportunity. And so I was on my way to this opportunity and the final interview. And my dad sent me a text message that said, you've got this. And it was shortly after that interview that I was notified that I had been the selected candidate for the position. And I was like, oh my God. Because not only did the phrase, you've got this, come from my dad, but then I noticed on my vision board, my license plate said June 2022, which is in fact when I was given the opportunity to come back permanently to Virginia. So I am telling you, vision boards work. And when you stand there, sometimes though, like I didn't plan out the June 2022 thing. So you got to be really cautious with how you're setting up your vision board, because trust and believe the universe sees it and it's like, got it. Okay, so you said June of 2022, we're going to make it happen then. So anyway, that was a dream. And there's a lot more stories just like that I have experienced enough to know that I'm a believer, people. I'm a believer. So let's recap here, because I know we're coming up on time. Visioning is a tool that you can use to create your desired reality. You can see it, feel it, believe in it. It will become so familiar to you and will be wired into your subconscious mind, and you will be moving into the knowing that it is your reality. Be consistent, take inspired action, be careful with who you share your desires with, believe in your heart that you are worthy. Visioning is really fluid too. So as new desires come, add them into your visioning. You are a creator of your reality. And as Napoleon Hill, who is best known for writing his book, Think and Grow Rich, what the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And that is my wish for all of you. So if you enjoyed this episode and it was helpful for you, which I hope it was, please do your girl a solid and rate, subscribe, and review this podcast. It was so much fun talking about visioning, and I can't wait to hear about all the things that you are doing now and manifesting into your reality. So please send me some comments. Let me know how it's going. And next week, we are going to be talking about the power of our thoughts. And thoughts really do become things. We touched on it a little bit here on how our thoughts create emotions, which are really energy in motion. So next week, we're going to take a deeper look into how thoughts really do have an impact on our lives and the reality that we create. So again, my name is Lisa Ryan. This is the Joy-Filled Universe podcast, and I will look forward to talking to all of you next week while we continue to explore all the tools and tricks that are going to make your universe even more joyful than it already is. Bye.